What's up, everybody, and welcome to my first Fack Off Friday. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never done one of these things. I usually just do riffs and play. But hey, stay tuned because I am going to do some riffing in this because I just can't sit here and talk. It just freaks me out. So I am going to riff. So hang on for that. Um, so yeah, we're just going to get through this together, man. This this might be terrible. It might be good. We don't know. We don't care. We're just sitting around watching YouTube. So that's what matters. Um, so yeah, so what I did was I just on Facebook I said, hey, should I do one of these? And I said, if you want me to ask some questions on my Killertone Facebook page, a bunch of people did, and so I'm going to answer those questions or most of them, and maybe I'll take some of them for the next one. But in the future, I think what we'll do is we'll take the comments from this YouTube video as for the next questions for the next video kind of thing. So that way they're all in one kind of place that I can easily just grab them and see. So anyway, let's get on with it, man. I'm already yapping way more than I'm comfortable with. So first question is Sturgis Stockwell says, hey, what's an update on the Evil Pumpkin? And that is that the quarantine has just shut it down in the UK and in Canada. There's a 2-week travel quarantine on both sides. So that'd be an extra month of quarantine to try to get over there and QC it. So we need to do that. Obviously, we need to QC it to the standard that we want, to the ultimately high standard that Fortin products are known for. And yeah, so we just can't do that with an extra 4 weeks of quarantine. But the good news is lots of work is being done behind the scenes. So as soon as that stuff lifts, I think it will progress very quickly, and we'll be able to get it done. No one wants it out more than me. I love it. I think it's great. Well, just got a text. That's nice. So yeah, hopefully soon. The next thing was he asked about t-shirts, and I have not done another run, but I was designing one last night, and yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do another run pretty soon here. So just stay tuned for that. Instagram and Facebook, all that good stuff. He asked how's my back healing, and it's my neck actually, but same difference. And it's getting there, man. It's good days and bad days, but yeah, I'm getting there. So that's good. Room treatments, phase lining cabinets, man, that's going to be something that I could talk about for a while. So maybe I'll think a little bit more about that and answer that in the future. So thanks for the question, Sturgis Stockwell. Next is Miguel Casillas. He says, have you dug into modelers and pros and cons? And what power amp would you use if I toured with one? And he loves my stuff. Keep killing it. That's rad. Thank you very much for that. That's super kind of you. Yes, I've dug into modelers, mostly the Kemper, which I guess is a modeler, even though it's a profiler, but whatever, in that ilk. And they're great, man. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that, modelers are stupid. They're obviously not. They're very, very useful tool. They're very handy for the modern touring player who cannot carry a backline of stuff. They're versatile. There's tons of stuff, and just like any piece of gear out there on the planet, they are going to be as good as whoever is using them. If someone who has no idea what they're doing is turning the knobs, it doesn't matter if they're playing an amp or a modeler, it's going to sound like shit. So I like them for that reason. That being said, I'll always use tube amps in the studio. I'll always use them when I can play live. I don't mind hauling a 412. Doesn't bug me whatsoever. I've been doing it for 30 years, man. So it doesn't bother me a single bit. And I'm also a touring sound engineer, and I understand how it all works. And so it doesn't bother me a bit. What was the other question he said? What power amp would I use? I would use a linear power amp, which is like a Class A power amp, with a profiler. And anything that's got like a cabinet model in it and power amp model in it. If it already has that, I think Helix has that. I know the profiler has that. All that kind of stuff. I would use a linear power amp, such as a PA style power amp. So maybe like something by Crown or Crest or any one of those type things. Even Behringer makes PA power amps that are fairly cheap and work well. The reason being is that they're just pure. They're not going to add any color really to the tone, and they're just going to reproduce it and make it louder. So that's what I would do. Okay, next question is from Daniel Rose. He says, what level would a dB meter read when you record riffs? I have no idea, man. I don't have one in here, and I don't really care. I play pretty loud in here. I mean, I play fairly loud in here. I I would imagine, I mean, because DBs are measured in so many various ways. I would imagine like a DBA uh, rating in here would probably be on the order of 100, 105, somewhere in there, probably just because it's a small room and it's loud. If I was, 20 feet away, it'd probably be more like 90 or 85 or something like that. Um, but yeah, man, I don't really care about what dBs is. I just care about like I get the volume up to where that cabinet is resonating correctly and speakers pushing and all that kind of stuff, because all that stuff has to do with your tone just as much as just about anything else, man. I mean, a cabinet turned down, a speaker not really doing much at low volume is not going to sound the same as one that's cranked up and moving and having some excursion. And the power amp and the amp is all that kind of stuff is dependent upon volume. So I get it to where, it's crunching, and luckily I can do that. I have plenty of space out here, and I don't really bother anybody. So the next question, he said, do I add preamp mic gain to your recordings? Well, you have to. So the way a microphone works is it needs preamp gain on a microphone. So I'm using this Neve 5211 for most of my microphone stuff these days. And yeah, so the mics just go straight into that, and it's a mic pre with gain. So yeah, you always add gain. The Mr. Wildcat is asking about riff writing, and man, riff writing is what I try to do when I write riffs. Is I try to write something memorable, something rhythmically memorable, something that's got some sort of melodic tint to it that's memorable, something that kind of doesn't cycle the same every time, maybe has a different twist on the ending. Man, that's another one, along with this phase alignment question that was there and the speaker cab stuff that was earlier that I could probably do a whole video on. But mostly, man, it's about catchiness. It's about rhythmic, uniqueness maybe. And those two things together. And also, like with the riff, trying to write something that's melodically, it's weird because you think, oh, melodic is just soloing. And well, no, it's not, man. You gotta add some melodic stuff to your riff writing. That's how, that's how you get, that's how they get remembered. And a lot of people comment on my riffs over the years, and I think it's because they're catchy and they remember them. They remember them when they go on about their day. Okay. What's the next one? My preferred, Richard Clark says, what's your preferred speaker or speaker combo for metal rhythm guitar? I mean, I'm a vintage 30 guy. I know that it's very popular right now to hate them on forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that. It's very popular, but I love them. And Celestion, I think, make the best speakers on the planet. I'm a Celestion artist, and I've been using them for, I don't know, since I was started. I bought my first Marshall cabinet in like the 9th grade, and had actually, it was a Legend cabinet company in the UK made these badass cabinets called Legend cabinets, and it had G1265s in it, and I was hooked. I was like, that sounds rad. And then I got later on, I got a Marshall cab with V30s, and I just kind of never looked back. Now, that being said, I've got cabs with V30s. I've got cabs with the Creamback 75 and the Creamback 65. I've got a cab with the old Blackback 55 hertz 30s. I've got UK V30s. I've got Chinese V30s. And, at the end of the day, I'm going to do the exact same thing I do every time I mic a cab up, and I'm going to move the mic around till I like it, to like what it sounds like. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to sound very close no matter what I do. Just because that's my ear kind of goes to that. But for me, it is very easy for me to just throw a mic on a 50 or on a V30 and kind of get it going. I have had fun with the 75 Creamback recently. It's a little darker, and I like that for brighter amps, and I like it for blending with a V30 too. And so yeah, I've been doing that a little bit. So man, I mean, that's a rabbit hole that we can all go down and never come out of, but yeah, it's fun stuff. All right, so Richard also asks, how much of an impact do I think cab construction has on tone? And I think it's pretty big, actually, pretty huge. That's why, so many cabs sound different out there. I think the biggest difference, I mean, going through brands and all that, everyone's got their own little tweaks. I think, you know, Mesa cabs, the oversized cabs, obviously have a lot of low end in them. People love those because they love all this low end. I don't love all that low end. That's a good sounding cab, and that's obviously a classic. I prefer cabs that are a little tighter sounding, so I really like the Mesa traditional V30 cab. That cab is killer. Also love standard good old Marshall V30 cabs. I think if you can't plug into a good old Marshall V30 cab and sound good, then something's wrong. I think they sound great. But the main difference, I think, between two designs is front loaded and back loaded, or rear loaded, I should say. And rear loaded are going to be woofier, a little looser. They've got the baffle working, so the speakers actually mounted to the baffle from the back, and so the baffle gets a little bit more involved in the tone. Whereas a front loaded cab is a little tighter sounding, and a little more directional, maybe. Um, so yeah, I think cabinet construction has a lot to do with it, man. I mean, as far as like brands go, I haven't played enough. I've been set on cabs for so long that I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on cabs these days. I'm generally using my USA Randall cab, or I have a Splon 212 cab, or I have old Marshall cabs from the 70s. And man, that's just, I haven't really had to look anywhere for cabs these days. Okay, next. Klaus Weber says, if you could plug into anyone's guitar rig, dead or alive, who would it be and why? And it would absolutely 100%, not without any question, it would be Scott Ian's rig when he recorded Speak English or Die by Stormtroopers of Death. It would be that, because not only would I be 12 years old or something, or 11 years old or something when he did it, and it would just be the raddest thing for an 11-year-old. I mean, a lot of people I know have chased that tone for a long time. I've come pretty dang close to it in a couple videos that some of y'all have probably seen. But yeah, man, that rig is awesome. Another one on the whole other side would be David Gilmour's rig on the Division Bell tour. I saw that when I was a kid, or I was in my 20s, I think. And it was some of the best guitar tone I've ever heard in my entire life. And he had a rack this tall full of gear. And I just think that's rad. I think it's awesome. I love it that, he has a rack this tall and some other dude has a combo amp that sounds rad too, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day, who gives a shit what you're using, as long as it sounds cool. And David Gilmour's rig that day was, I got goosebumps talking about it. It was badass. So yeah, Scott Ian way back in the 80s, and David Gilmour like in early 90s, probably like 93 or something, or 94 when Division Bell came out. Yeah, those had lasting impacts on me. All right, so Mitch Hobbs, my buddy Mitch, Jawbreaker Guitar Tech. I'm front of house for Jawbreaker. Man, Mitch is awesome. Mitch, the best brewery I visit on tour is easily Ninkasi in Eugene, Oregon. Their beer's really good too, but the brewery is just awesome, and the guys there are cool as hell. And yeah, that was just a lot of fun and a fun day. So good times. Bob Harvey from Down Under. What's going on, Bob? So with a riff or song I wish I'd written myself, man, dude, I love Slaughtered by Pantera. That riff right there just makes me want to just kick babies, and in the best way possible. Hope you understand what that really means. Some people will write letters. Anyway, yeah, man, Slaughtered. I don't know, man. What else? Man, I mean, just purely from a monetary standpoint, maybe Enter Sandman, because I'd be like on 3 different islands that I owned right now. What else, man? There are so many great riffs. And Bark at the Moon is a sick riff. Man, there's like about 17 Dying Fetus riffs I wish I would have written, because they're so slamatocious. Yeah, so that's I don't know, man. That's a hard one to say on the spot, but man, I do love it. So anyway, man, that's gonna be it, because I've talked too damn long. And thanks for doing this with me, and hopefully we'll do another one soon. And yeah, see you next time.